All right, we have Ashley Yoder joining the program. She returns to action at UFC 252 on August 15th, taking on Lavinia Souza. Ashley, good to see you. How are you?
I'm great. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. So this is the first time we're going to see you in the octagon in around 10 months or so. And one of the things that you want to do over the last year or so, at least from the last time we spoke, was you wanted to stay as active as possible. And I know times have been crazy with COVID-19 and this pandemic kind of slowing things down, but how excited are you just to get back in there and compete in a couple of weeks?
I'm really excited. It's crazy to think that we're the only sport back, so I'm very grateful. And yeah, I always want to be active. Things like this happen. It just gives you extra time to really just get better at the end of the day, you know. So that's really what I've taken out of it. So I'm excited.
When people say that fighting and MMA is a game of inches, I think you might be like the definition of that based on your UFC run. Like you fight Randa Marcos in your last fight, another razor close decision that didn't go your way. What were you able to take away from that fight with Randa, who's been a perennial top 15er in that division for quite some time now?
You know, at the end of the day, it's just I'm trying to get comfortable at being okay with everything. So by saying that, you know, coming into MMA as an entity, not as any other martial arts individually, I've really had to kind of pick everything up at once. So it's just every time you go against these awesome competitors, it just shows me that I'm right up there with them. You know, I just got some tweaks. I got to fix some things and really just kind of let myself go and let myself be me. And I think that's what's going to get me the win this time. You know, I truly believe that I'm growing every time, whether it's a loss, whether it's a win. Every day I show up, there'll be something I'll be like, oh, like that hand position. Okay. So like things will click, you know? So I'm very grateful that, I am able to compete with these girls, even, you know, bad decisions, good decisions. I'm ready to put on a performance. And I think that's what gives me the wind in my sails every time, because I just like to get better and show that I'm worthy to be in the UFC. So
Do you feel like you won that fight?
no, I think on the ground I did great. It was my best. I feel like I brought out some stuff that I hadn't brought out since I've been in the UFC. Maybe in Justine's fight, but you know, just getting better at wrestling was a huge thing for that camp. My stand-up, of course, once you start focusing on one, the other one lacks a little bit. But, you know, it's all starting to come together. And, you know, I just think that this Ashley is going to be a really, really different Ashley than you've seen. So I'm really excited to show my growth as a fighter.
Outside of the result itself, did you enjoy your trip to Singapore? I know that was something you were really looking forward to.
I did, you know, I was really excited. I got to take my dad with me, so he got to see, you know, all the cool stuff. Unfortunately, I got really sick, whether it was food poisoning, traveling, or whatever. But, you know, at the end of the day, it was an experience, and I'm grateful for it.
How close to the fight did you get sick?
I was pretty sick. What day it was? I mean, it wasn't the day of the fight, but my stomach was pretty jacked up from whether it was the food or the travel. I'm not sure, but I handled it like a G, and we made it through. So we just kind of pretend it wasn't there and just pushed through anyway. So it was the first time for me, so I was a new experience.
You mentioned it, but you know, the positive thing that comes out of taking this amount of time off is you get the chance to grow and evolve and hone your craft and get better. So how has this last 10 months been for you in that aspect? What specifically have you worked on, or is it just kind of the whole kit and caboodle here?
Yeah, I think that's the biggest thing with me is I won't just settle for one thing of getting better. Of course, you know, one of the things that opened my eyes too is Randa being a last minute opponent change. A couple weeks out, that can happen at any time. So that's another thing that, you know, just growing, still having to pick up every little piece in each individual martial art that is in MMA that I train is something that like, you know, maybe certain things that I trained for that whole camp, they didn't really show in that fight. And now that they're going to progress and they're going to show in this fight, it's just adding on. And, you know, I've learned a lot, and hopefully it shows in this fight, but you never know. But I think pushing forward no matter what, I'm becoming more intelligent as a fighter. I'm feeling more like a vet.
It's probably in a weird way almost a blessing that you had that short notice replacement, especially now, because we saw what happened last weekend. We had 3 opponent switches within a 24-hour span, and then 2 fights got scratched on Saturday. So like you said, anything can happen, and this can happen to you again on August 15th and, and beyond.
It's not
so
on wood, but yes, I'm always ready. I think this is the first I'm going to really just focusing on being the best Ashley. So
I saw that you had signed a new 4-fight deal with the UFC back in June. That had to have been very exciting news for you. Congratulations on that. I assume you were very happy with this deal and this news.
Yeah, I really am. I think I've proven my worth, although the record doesn't really reflect that. But, at the end of the day, I'm still growing, I'm still learning, and I'm still having fun doing it. So as long as I can come out and put a performance on, hopefully I'll stay employed.
Was the Marcos fight the last one on your contract, or would this fight have been the last one?
I got superseded. It would have been, this one would have been my last fight, but they superseded that contract, got a new one. So
that's going to be a nice little confidence boost, right? Record aside, you have been in exciting fights, and it's not like you've been blown out of the water in any of these fights. So like you said, it's almost like they're investing in you, once you put it together, boom, here we go.
Now that sounds like pressure, my friend. No, yeah. I feel like they see my potential as well. And I mean, if anyone that knows me knows that I don't have a background, my martial arts experience is very limited, yet I'm still here and I'm hanging on. So when I come in, I love what I do. I think, as all the athletes, we have, people that can set a great example for others, and I think my story and my journey is one of those. So on top of being like a crazy performer and not caring where I'm at or how bloody I get, I think it just helps the situation. So yeah, grateful.
Yes, great news for you nonetheless heading into this fight. Back on a big pay-per-view card as well, taking on Lavinia Souza, who's coming off her first UFC loss to Brianna Van Buren over a year ago. How do you like this matchup from like an X's and O's stylistic perspective?
Man, I don't, I'm probably the most boring interviewer on that side of it. I go in and I don't really mind who I step apart of. The only thing I ask of my opponent is that they want to fight, and I know that Lavinia is going to do that, so I'm excited about this fight.
Where do you see your advantages lying in this one? Like, she's got a lot of finishes. Most of them are on the mat, but you're a freewheeler. You just like to see wherever the fight goes.
I got a lot of finishes too.
You do.
UFC, yeah. So it could be anywhere. I think we could go to the ground. We could stand up. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. So I don't like to project what I think is going to happen, because anything can happen. As long as we get in that cage and they shut the door, I think it's a win for both of us at this point. So yeah, I'm just excited to perform.
Are you excited for the empty arena experience and being able to hear everything that happens around you, the strikes, each breath, all of that stuff? Is that something you're looking forward to being a part of?
I was on The Ultimate Fighter. You don't get much more quiet than Khalil Roundtree and
yeah. This is going to be quieter than that, though.
Corey Hendricks. Yeah, they were the first fight, and they were teammates. So you will not get quieter than Tuff's first fight on Tough 23. It was pins and needles. I heard no, I'm not worried. I'm actually more experienced in that than most people. So yeah, I'm good.
Yeah, I know the Tough experiences. You've been a part of that. And I know, because most of the time, except for maybe that fight and maybe a handful of others throughout the show, there's a bunch of teammates screaming and yelling, yeah, and shouting out instructions. This is not like that. You'll be able to hear like what the commentators say and everything.
Yeah, I mean, you're still hearing people yelling because the corners are yelling, right? So if you were on Tough, you would know that there's not a lot. I mean, the editing makes it sound like it was very noisy. It's very quiet on Tough. So if you were on that show, I think you're already at advantage for these kind of fights, that it's very closed arena type of fight. So I'm not worried about it. I'm actually, and she doesn't speak English. I don't speak Portuguese. We'll be fine.
Oh, there you go. So no reading no reading or anything like that. No symbols, signals, anything like that. So the Apex is going to be a lot of fun for you. Speaking of Tough, Dana White's saying that he wants to bring it back and keep the whole thing going. And it's been a couple of years since that happened. So what was your experience like on that? Because is that maybe not going all the way back there, but if something came up and you had the opportunity to do it again, would you ever do it again?
At this stage of my life, you never know. But it was a great experience for me. I made some of my best friends from that show. You really kind of find who you are as a fighter yourself. Understanding the hearing a fight without any kind of like I will always remember the Corey Hendricks Khalil Roundtree first fight, because it was so, I mean, it was gut wrenching hearing these guys hit each other with absolutely zero sound. And I just remember that first fight, and then you take it with you, like, it's just a competition. We're in there doing what we do every day. I mean, I love the energy from the fans, but at the end of the day, I love what I do. And I know that my mom's at home watching me. I know my dad's at home watching me, and all my friends and family are watching me. So I have that in my heart, and I'm, there's no stopping me. So.
What does it mean to you to be on this card? Like, this is Daniel Cormier's final fight of his career. He's fighting for the heavyweight title against Stipe Miocic, and there's rumors out there it could be Stipe's last fight too. Like, what does it mean to you to be on this card, to be a part of, one of the greatest of all time's final fights for sure?
Well, originally, I'm so pumped. They told me my date. They didn't tell me. They just said date, where it was. They didn't even tell me where it was, actually. They just said August 15th. And then when they popped up the DC fight, I'm like, I think I'm on that card. And then I saw oh my God, I am on that card. I'm like, that's awesome. So I'm a huge fan of both of them. Midwest, and from Midwest, so the Ohio, native. And then, I'm a huge fan of DC. I think he's done a lot for the sport. He's a great commentator. He's really grown into that. And so I'm excited to be on that same card. It's an honor to be on any pay-per-view card. Hopefully I'm still on the undercard, because I love being on the undercard. I think it's more exposure, and, why not? So I'm excited just to be a part of it, being able to fight in Vegas. I'm excited.
Did they tell you where on the card you're going to be? Are you on the ESPN card or before that?
I'm probably I'm on the undercard somewhere. They don't tell us yet. There's been already a fight pulled, so who knows?
Oh, there you go. How do you see this all playing? Because you have a 30-24 run of scorecards in your career. You don't have that finish yet, but you still have the 30-24s, which is ridiculously impressive. What's more significant in your eyes? Like, if you go out there and 30-24 her, or if you finish her, what would be more impactful?
Don't get 30-24. No, I've had both. I've had finishes, just not in the UFC. So It'd be awesome to get a finish. It also just to be having a dominant performance would be really awesome as well. It'd be worth, all the hard work that you put in. So, I'm not one to predict the future. I let it ride, and I just give my best. So
you're going to try to get back as soon as possible after this one? I mean, we're not looking past August 15th, but all goes well and according to plan, we want to get right back in there, right?
If I'm healthy, yeah, I'm ready to get back in there. Yeah. And it's a great opportunity for the people that are healthy and able to do that. So I'm hoping for some good health and being able to turn around quickly.
You hoping to maybe get a trip to Fight Island out of this whole thing?
No. I don't want to go to Fight Island.
No.
I fought in Singapore. I did my time overseas.
All right, so you don't want to do that again? Not anytime soon, anyways?
No, I'm good.
All right, well, we'll keep you at the apex for as long as we can. Ashley, congratulations on the 4-fight deal. Well-deserved, in my opinion. I'm looking forward to this fight on this big card on August 15th. So all the best to you for the rest of preparation and training, and we'll see you in the octagon on August 15th.
Thank you so much. Talk to you soon.
All right, take care.